no amount of legal jargon or legal theory or legal whatsoever will justify what is happening. His deportation,
You are welcome to the second part of the discussion on the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Listening carefully to the part 2, a lot of things are being revealed in part 2. The criminality of Nigeria, the evil and deception of Nigerian government that they want to introduce to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that failed. The way they deceive the eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu. I want you to pay attention on this section. This is the part 2. The continuation of the previous video that I played. I want you to listen carefully to this very discussion. You are going to learn a lot. A lot of information are being revealed, and it is important that we pay attention. Information is power. That is why we are bringing these things to your doorstep for you to understand the depth of the criminality and deception.
UPN is encroaching in southeast and south-south, and the NPP is holding this and that. They were afraid that something might happen. So what NPN did was to send people and to negotiate with people who have a sincere mind, just like your guest there said that it's a showman show. People who actually want to get hold of Igbo land. The Igbo politicians like Dr. K. Umbadi, Arabio Kafo, Osisiono, and others who want to get hold and to convince the Igbos that they are standing in for their, for their good. They discussed and negotiated with Shagari to grant Ojukwu pardon, and also entered into agreement with Ojukwu that when you come, you should enter NPN. But then Ojukwu have been logging to the home. Ojukwu have been negotiating to the home. He fought for it, he agreed. And immediately he come back, he not joined the NPP. The Igbos were expecting him to join NPP, Nigeria People's Party, which is headed by an Igbo man, Nnamdi Kanu of that time. So immediately he came back, he disappointed them and joined NPN, and even contested the election. And they put a banana peel for him, that a non-figure, defeated him in senatorial election. So based on that, notwithstanding, but he was granted pardon, and he came in the form of Ojukwu Front a lot of me to convince and to please the people that granted him that pardon. But then Nnamdi Kanu is not a Ojukwu, he's not yielding to some of the overtures being made to him. But if I were him, I would say I will agree in any terms and come out of that detention, that incarceration, that dungeon. I will come out of that place first. It's the man that is alive that can be able to fight. They say he will fight and run away and come back. We can do a better fight. So I will have Nnamdi Kanu to stop talking and his followers to stop talking. There are another angle there. I have been telling them, look, if you kill one of Nnamdi Kanu, 100 Nnamdi Kanu will see what they will capitalize and lay hand upon to spring up. But the problem is that the people who are suffering it are the Southeasterners, not even South-South. Only that 5 states that is suffering. They are suffering economically. They are losing supply. Criminals are spring up from here and there. Criminals within Igbo land, criminals outside Igbo land are capitalizing on this Nnamdi Kanu to begin to foment a lot of trouble. Let me tell you, somebody came up to tell her that he has a private army. The federal government, engaged him as a missionary. Let's don't go far. That Buhari engaged him and employed him as a missionary. And he bragged, he boasted, I slaughtered them. I went to Anambra, I killed them. I went this and that, I finished them. Nothing happened. He said he was employed by the federal government. As I said it, he was employed. Today he's still brandishing AK-47, guns and everything, and even visited Ashurok and stayed in the seat of government to grant interview and warn anybody who will come, against his support to Mr. President. Therefore, it will be difficult. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! What's happening?
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Dom Ferguson. I'm going to stop you there. There are a lot of layers to this particular conversation as regards why he's still in jail, whether or not he will be let out, whether or not there will be a trial going forward. In the trial today at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice Binta Eyako recused herself from the case. Nnamdi Kanu himself, not his lawyer now, himself spoke out in court talking about the fact that she should recuse herself because she's violating the Supreme Court judgment. In his words, he said if the DSS has done this, he can understand. But when a judge is doing this, that he cannot understand and he will not stand for that. I'm paraphrasing now. And will there still be a trial going forward after this has happened, particularly because there's a 7-count terrorism charge against him by the federal government? Is there still a chance that there'll be a trial and he'll be released? Or would it be better to go the route of a political solution?
You see, the moment an accused person standing trial declares that he doesn't have that confidence that he could get justice.
Precisely what he said.
From a judge, the judge has to excuse himself or herself from that trial. Because justice is supposed to be served and to be seen to have been served. You understand? So what that means is there shouldn't be any ambiguity, there shouldn't be any shade of doubt in the administration of justice in any case. Anything short of that is like you are denying that person his fundamental human right. So to that extent, if Kanu feels that he will not get justice from Iyako for some reasons, then she needs to excuse herself, and that's what she has done. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying this for the umpteenth time, that political solution is the best route. Lawyers have their technicalities of getting adjournment, getting all sort of things in court to delay justice, particularly when the prosecution is not willing to dispense with the case in time. So, for me, I would rather, while Kanu is having his day in the court, let people of means, people with political clout, people who can extend their handshake beyond the Niger, begin to work assiduously on the ground for the sake of this man. Dr. Don Ferguson was saying that it's a different ball game. No.
From that of Sunday
From Sunday ago, I beg to disagree on that. You see, the modus operandi may be different, but it's the same self-determination that we're talking about here. Sunday Igboho says he wants Odua Republic.
Mm-hmm. Which is practically secession. As
well. You understand? Kanu says he wants Biafra. How is this different? If Sunday Igboho is raising arms against the state, Kanu is also accused of raising arms against the state. So where is the difference here? That Sunday Igboho was hounded, he ran out of the country. Kanu was hounded, he ran out of the country. What is different there? So at what point is it that the continued incarceration of Kanu, whereas, you know, if it were to be Tinubu when Sunday Igboho was released, we would say it's padi Yoruba thing. But Igboho was let off the hook when Buhari was there.
Exactly.
And what we are saying is, let's not apply this stubbornness into this thing. This man has his life to live. Those who are urging MK Abiola to remain in custody, that he has to fight for his mandate, they are the major beneficiaries of the death of Abiola in incarceration today. What makes you think that, God forbid, if anything happens to Kanu today, those who are urging him that no, you should stand on your mandate, you should stand on Biafra, that we are not shaking, will not be the ones to benefit from whatever happens to him? So I think the best bet is let this man have his life back. That's the only way he can move forward. And he also alluded to the fact that he said, those who fight and run away live to fight another day. The political space is still there. So many things can still happen, but he needs to get his life back first.
So you're saying he can explore other means to fight this same battle, but first he needs to be let out.
He needs to have his life first. You can't be in detention and say you want to fight a cause. You can't. That was what happened to Mandela until African leaders and some other leaders that are sympathetic outside of Africa started fighting his cause. At the end of the day, he spent 27 years. So look at Nnamdi Kanu. Add another 20 years to his life. Will he be active in the next 20 years? Will he even be able to fit into the society the next 20 years? And it's not everybody that comes out of prison that becomes president. So, is this a sectional thing? But the whole of South Africa, blacks, were behind this man, Mandela. So, for me, in whatever we are arguing here, you may see me as a pacifist, but that is the truth. If I were in his position, the first thing that comes to my mind is, let me get out of here first. Because it's like, it's just there. Even if there's any uprising today, it's a sitting duck. If people decide to take arms.
But that's another thing that has come into conversation, particularly since he has been in jail. Dr. Dom Ferguson, you're welcome back, and I'll direct this one to you. Even Kanu himself has said before that him being out of jail will solve the uprising, for lack of a better word, that's happening in the Southeast, particularly with IPOB, because, I mean, the conversation is that IPOB is the one responsible for this uprising in the Southeast, even though there are other schools of thought that are saying there are other people, other factions, other parties that are operating violently under the guise of IPOB. So we're letting him out. I mean, Mr. Fanimo is saying even if there's an uprising, he'll be a sitting duck. But we're letting him out prevent an uprising in the first place. He's out again. Okay. While we wait for him to reconnect, let me just ask you that.
You see, the whole idea is in or out. I take out instead of being in there. Because he has some appreciable number of followers that if there is a negotiated freedom for him, that man alluded to what happened to Ojukwu.
Yes.
But Ojukwu still came back around to form APGA.
Yes.
That is to tell you that sometimes time heals wounds. Why would you not be out and begin to explore, realizing if Ojukwu was still very young when he branched out of PDP, from MPN and then formed APGA, it would have made some impact in the polity, but already was a little bit old at that time. So he couldn't do the maneuvering and all that is expected of somebody raising a political consciousness within the country. So what we are saying is this man is still a young man. He still has the drive, the energy, and everything that could go for somebody who wants to actualize certain things. So for me, I would rather is out of that place. No matter how you look at it, Kanu should bend over backwards to get his freedom.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because going by today's ruling, today's case at the Federal High Court, you can tell that this is somebody going from what he said. He said he doesn't mind spending another year, making it the 5th year that he would be incarcerated. This doesn't...
Sorry, let me just clear that. Shortly after Mandela was released from jail, there was a reporter who asked him one very important question. He said, "Sir, in all your years of incarceration, in all your years of appearing in court, was there a particular day that you feared for your life?" You know what Mandela said? He said, every day he's in court, he's always afraid for his life. Every day, anything just drops around his prison room, that he's always afraid for his life. But anytime he's in court and he's going back to prison, that fear is all over him. But when he looks back and see the number of South African blacks that were looking forward, that were looking up to him as the only bastion of hope, that he will clench his fist and raise it, that yes, I am resolute, I am tough. that does not mean he doesn't fear for his life.
No, it does not.
So Kanu, in a way, when he's left alone in that solitary confinement, would always fear for his life. But he doesn't need to dampen the spirit of those people out there that believe so much in him, that is the savior. Some people see him as next person to God. You understand? So he needs to give them that bravado. But beyond that facade, he's also...
He's not benefiting anything. He's suffering.
Suffering.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Delio Fanimo. Let's move on to Edo State, or at least the